Hey, what's up guys, John here. A new law was just signed in Florida, which will require all buildings that are 30 years of age or older to undergo a secondary inspection by the end of the year.
What that means in terms of losing their home, having nowhere to go?
It's called SB 4-D. Now they say that this law is there to protect condo owners due to what happened in Miami with that building that fell a couple years ago. However, this new law, this secondary inspection, is going to bring forward massive cost for a lot of condo owners throughout the state. They range somewhere between 340 and 360,000 units could fall inside of this, crisis. That's massive. In 2007, just for context, there was about 20,000 apartments under construction in Miami. Now there's 40,000. So when you have a massive supply hitting the market, coupled with this new law that's going to bring forward downward pressure on prices, coupled with an insurance crisis.
Florida's coverage collapse, sky-high insurance premiums.
Homeowners are getting crushed with rising insurance costs.
Anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences, who now is either being denied home insurance or it's being jacked up.
It's going to be a really great time to be a buyer, and a horrible time for many homeowners that own condos throughout the state of Florida that are going to be hit with these assessments. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's going on and why I believe we're walking into a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to invest in Florida, when this thing hits the fan. And because without doubt, this is hitting the fan. Please hit the like button, hit the like button, people share the content, educate more people about what's going on in Florida's housing market. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I believe is going to be a massive wealth building opportunity, we'd love to help you at greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative or derogatory items in your credit report, go to greatcreditfast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Take a look at this. So condo owners and associations must start repairs and maintenance works flagged in the report within a year of receiving it. Nearly 90% of the 20,000 plus units listed for sale in Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade are in buildings aged 30 years and above. So think about that. 90% of the 20,000 condos are getting, they're getting flagged for the secondary inspection. You imagine where we're at right now in this economy, this job market, this inflationary crisis, where these condo owners are. You think they're gonna want to strike a check for $50, $100, $200,000? No, they're not gonna be able to. It wouldn't make sense for them in most cases to do it even if they could afford to do it. Look at this. In Tampa, the median monthly HOA fee jumped 17.2% over the year to July 31st, according to Redfin. In Orlando, the fees soared on average of 16.7%. And in Fort Lauderdale, they rose 16.2%. This is compared to an average hike of 6% across the 43 most populous metro areas Redfin analyzed. HOA fees also rose in West Palm by 12.8%, 7.6% in Jacksonville, 5.7% in Miami. It's an absolute problem. They say it's a worst case scenario. Florida real estate crisis revealed as desperate residents flee. The Sunshine State continues to face potentially catastrophic real estate crisis that could soon cause a mass exodus. Real estate expert and realtor has revealed what he thinks is the worst case scenario would be as costs for condos have soared, especially in Southern Florida. Homeowners association fees paid by residents for general maintenance of the neighborhood or for condos have shared buildings have also caused skyrocketing insurance costs for residents. So you look at this scenario, right? Then you look at, another scenario right here in Boca. In Boca Raton, foundation of condos crumbling. Talks of over $200,000 per unit in special assessments. I made the nightmare decision of buying at Tower 155 in Boca. For those who don't know, Google Tower 155 Boca lawsuit. They basically used a bunch of third-rate contractors they literally found on Angie's List, and the building became the fire festival of construction. Literally leaks and mold are seeping into the walls. $1 billion plus building. That's $200K just gets the legal cost. And they're saying it's going to go between $500K and $1 million in repairs overall. This place is so damaged. The needs basically everything, including key structural elements that are very difficult to replace. I'm going into this place in $2 million, but the market is about to get flooded. 30% of the units are empty, and a single investor is about to drop 17 more on the market. How bad of a haircut are we talking here? Any chance I can make it out of this unscathed? So this is the law. It says building safety, providing that the entire roofing system roof sector, and certain existing building structures does not have to be repaired, replaced, or recovered in accordance with the Florida Building Code under certain circumstances requiring condominium associations, cooperative associations to have milestone inspections performed on certain buildings at specified times, authorizing local enforcement agencies to prescribe timelines and penalties relating to milestone inspections, revising the type of records that constitute the official records of the condominium association, prohibiting certain numbers of associations from waiving or reducing reserves for certain items. I mean, this is going to be a disaster for so many people that ran into Florida, from Los Angeles, San Francisco, Boston, Philly, New York City, in 2020, and say, you know what, I'm getting out of this high taxed, restrictive area, this restrictive state. I'm going to go somewhere where I'm free, no income tax, live by the beach, and I can do it for less, right? A lot of people dove in and they took advantage of these cheap, 2.5%, 3% mortgage rates, and they bought, $1 million place on the water. Now they're getting hit, and at a time when everyone else is trying to sell. I mean, I'm going to show you, look at how there's so much inventory right now. It is crazy. Tower 155 condominium owners have sued the 4-year-old building's developer, contractor, architect, and 21 other companies alleging shoddy construction and design that has left them footing the bill for extensive repairs. Now, I'll tell you, a lot of the new construction that's come out the last, 5-6 years by a lot of these prominent home builders, really bad work. You really want to, at least that's what I'm reading, that's what I'm seeing, that's what I'm hearing. You really want to make sure you're doing your inspections. And if you're buying a condominium, you really want to make sure there's no hidden assessments that are coming up that owner is trying to get out from underneath of and trying to pass the cost on to you. So, this lawsuit includes a 6-page list of deficiencies in the 127 condos throughout the downtown Boca Raton high-rise, including improper installation of building materials, which have caused water intrusion, corrosion, unsafe conditions, among other problems. So, that's happening. As the 40,000 unit pipeline is about to hit the market. You have 40,000 condos that are going to be hitting the market for sale. You have all of these condominiums that are walking into a very, very big problem. They're saying 90% of the 20,000 units, in Palm Beach is going to be subject to this new law, right? So 90% of the 20,000 units. So you start to just think about the amount of distress that's going to be coming. Now, when you look on Zillow and you just type in, 400K plus, Boca Raton, you just see tons and tons and tons of inventory and lots of price reductions. You weren't seeing this, 6 months ago. You just weren't. 114 days on the market. A lot of this inventory is just sitting, not selling. Price cut, it's another price cut. It's another 10K, 5K, just small price cuts, but these are low price units, 412,000. So you start to look at this, 15K, 5K, 5K, you have 7 pages of this, right? So when you start to kind of get an understanding of what's happening on the insurance side as well, you'll realize not many people are going to be able to make it. Not many people are going to be able to hold on inside of Florida. States beg insurers not to drop climate-threatened homes. Property insurance companies say they're taking losses amid escalating disasters. Now, I was recently in Sarasota, and I went to a neighborhood that was completely flooded, and I talked to a lot of the homeowners there. They said, look, some of us have flood insurance. They're still not covering us. They're not covering us. So whether we had it or we didn't have it, we're not getting the coverage. And even though they were paying into it, it says in the coming years, climate could force Americans from their homes, not just by raising sea levels, worsening wildfires and causing floods, but also putting insurance coverage out of reach. In places like California, Florida, Louisiana, some homeowners are finding it nearly impossible to find an insurance company that will cover their property. Others have seen their premiums climb to highs that they can no longer pay. Experts say that the trend is spreading throughout the country as natural disasters increase. Most mortgage lenders require homeowners to maintain insurance. So the only way you're getting out of this is if you own your property outright, no mortgage, right? No mortgage, you don't have to have insurance. Without access to coverage, millions of Americans could find themselves forced to reconsider where they live. So I think we're going to see a major exodus inside of Florida. You're already seeing in Miami that the population is shrinking. It's shrinking. People are leaving Miami. I think that trend's, we're in the beginning stages of this. Florida seniors on fixed income fear that the future over rising insurance rates. Now, with the average age being 56 in Florida, and 40% of people in retirement are on fixed income. How many people, really? How many people are going to be able to handle the increased insurance, the increased HOAs, the assessments, all of these curveballs, record high inflation? I don't think many are going to. Not to mention, property taxes are going through the roof. They're saying in 2019, the average property tax bill in Florida was $2,226. Now it's $3,000. So essentially it jumped, call it 25, 28% inside of 4 years, right? I mean, 4 or 5 years. It's crazy. And the electric bills are skyrocketing. Now, what my prediction is we are going to likely see a lot of these buildings getting completely just acquired by private equity firms, and they're going to turn them into rentals. They'll probably bring them up to code. I think a lot of people are going to be walking away from their units, and I think we're going to see a lot of these HOAs going bankrupt. I think we're going to see a tsunami of problems all throughout the state. I mean, specifically, you look at Palm Beach, you look at Boca, you look at Fort Lauderdale, you look at Miami, you look at Sarasota, you look at Tampa, you look at St. Pete Beach. You start to follow the waterways, and you'll see a wave of distress coming. What do you think about this? Where do you see all this going? Do you think we're walking into a 2007, 2008 like event throughout the state of Florida? To me, it's looking like it's probably going to be worse. You have twice the amount of inventory coming with 3 curveballs. You have insurance, you have all of the new assessments, and you have sky-high inflation. It's a disaster. Let's talk about this below. If you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I believe is going to be a massive wealth building opportunity, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative or derogatory items in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Catch you next video.